Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about these, and I've had these for a while. I wanted to use them for a bit so I could give you my full opinion of them, because initially I just thought I'm not going to be a fan. Of course, these are I'm not going to take this cover off. These are the original Apple AirPods, which are wireless Bluetooth headphones for your Apple device, but actually pair very easy with most. I haven't had a problem with all my Android devices, so no problem. You don't need to have an iPhone or an iPad or a MacBook, but what makes it slightly easier if you have any of these Apple devices is that they pair even easier, and it's very smart of Apple. Of course, you're paying for these. Now, these I got for actually my wife got herself a pair from Carrefour, and I think they were 560 reals, and I was still using the cheap ones that I bought, XL I think they're called. I was still using them. They were 40 reals. I was still using these, and then she bought a pair for herself, and I tried them, and I thought, yeah, I mean, it's okay. I quite liked it. Look, I'm like most people. When I first saw this, I thought, I mean, it just looks stupid. It's just normal earpods without the, without the cable. It just looks pretty stupid. So let me move my camera there. I never really, and they were, to me, it seemed expensive. So I never really considered them. But anyway, she wanted them, and she didn't want to pay a lot of money either. But they did have them on a special. This price, I say Carrefour was 560 something. And I said, she asked me, did I want a pair? So I just said, okay, why not? So I took them. As I have the iPhone 10, I just thought, right, fine. I liked, the initial. I listened to Queens of the Queens of the Stone Age. No One Knows, and the sound. I just thought I listened to it on YouTube, and the sound I thought was really pretty good. So anyway, she bought them for me, and she also bought this rubber protective cover for the case, and we have a young kid who grabs everything, so probably a good thing. So when you open it up, if you have an Apple device, actually the kind of like a icon comes in front of your screen, and basically says blah blah, you want to pair, and that's it, done. Very easy. Now with non-Apple devices, in order to pair, there's a button here. So you just keep these in, and you keep your earpods in, and you just press this button here whilst you have your Bluetooth searching for devices. And really, I had no problems at all with any Android device. Although last night I was pairing it with an Android device, and I'd had these in my ear, and it didn't work, so I had to put the AirPods back in, and it still didn't work. And I closed it, then I opened it again, and then I pressed the button, and it paired, and it worked fine. So really, you don't need to have an iPhone or whatever. But I have iPad Pro, I have MacBook, have iPhone 10, and it just made it so much easier doing the old pairing business. And there's some other things as well. Now, okay, so look, these are not for everybody, and some people, their ears are just not that shape, for this to sit comfortably, and there is not much you can do about that. Now, luckily for me, these sit okay, but what I will say is, I understand why people might just not like them. Let's just get down to the most basic thing about these sound. Now, in my opinion, they are as good as the XL 40 Real ones, the sound. And maybe even the XL are slightly better because the XL have you can change the rubber, for to fit your ear. So perhaps you get a more tighter fit. So I think that you get a better sound from the 45 Real Bluetooth headphones than these. If it's not better, it's almost the same. So look, 560, 600 Reals to a pair of 45 Real. The sound was on a par with each other. But that's really where it ends, because the battery life on the XL, nothing like these. The pairing was not, it was easy enough, but what I never worked out on the XL ones, and they've gone now, what I never worked out on them was actually how to use it to answer a call. I'd never worked that out. So I'm sure I could have read the instructions. These just very, very easy for everything. Now, I have seen online that you can buy the rubber to put around here, and I haven't seen them here in KSA, but I've seen them and they're like $3 or $4. So maybe when I go back on vacation to Scotland, I will look and I will try them, because I just feel that with just a bit more fit in the ear, the sound will be a lot better, because when you hold them in tight into your ear, you do notice the difference in sound. So I'm going to look and see if I can find, I will give it a shot anyway. Now, where these far surpass any of the wireless ones I've had is the battery life. Battery life is excellent. I think you can get like to 4 to 6 hours just on a single charge. Then your case is also your charger, and it is Apple Lightning here. You just plug it in with USB. Then you can plug the AirPods in like a saw. It's like got a magnet there, and the charge, and they said that they can charge almost fully within about 30 odd minutes. So the Apple rate these over at least 24 hours. You can recharge them, and it's actually really, I can't explain it. It's just really amazing. Once you've charged up your case here, easy enough to do. The having this is just brilliant. Now, the other thing I like about them is, well, you can set these up on your iPhone, so you can tap to either activate Siri, or you can fast forward, or you can go forward a track of your music, or go back. So there's a couple of customization tricks that you can do. Also, they work independently of each other, so you can listen to just one, or if you're listening to both and on an Apple device, not on an Android device, if you remove one, the music or the video will stop until you put one back in. They have this chip in here, small processor chip. They have some other sensors here, so it will recognize that it's been removed from your ear and will stop playing whatever it is. So that's really pretty decent, especially if at night, if I'm watching something in my bed and my wife is asking me something, and then I remove this, and then I'm missing half of what I'm meant to be watching because she's talking to me. At least this, especially obviously when I'm watching on my iPad, it works really well. As I said, sound-wise, great for watching. I really movies, TV programs, etc. I think it just sounds pretty decent all round. What I really like about these here is, and I didn't think I would, because originally I just thought it looked stupid, but they're really light, okay? And when you have them in your ear, really you can almost like you forget about them. I just feel that it's, I don't know what it is. I mean, they weigh absolutely nothing, but when you have them in your ear, really, if you're watching a movie and you're engrossed in a TV show, whatever it is, you forget that you have them in there. That's how decent they are. Now, I know that all comes down to personal preference and the shape of your ears, but I really like that about them. Is it worth the money? I'm not exactly sure, but I do like that. Also, the other thing that I really like about these is, and I don't use it a lot as this function, but if you're using these to answer your phone call, you can have obviously the 2 in or just the 1 in. I found that the quality of the sound and the quality of my voice answering back, people have said very clear, it's very nice, and I just found them to be really very decent when using to answer your phone calls. And I tried on, what do you call it, on one of my Android phones, it's just as good. But it's just easier with the iPhone, and my iPhone X is the one that I'm kind of using with my main SIM anyway. So it's kind of, I don't use it a lot, but sometimes I will use it, and really, yep, very decent. I have loads of music on my iPod, my iPhone. I have an iPod, but I don't have Bluetooth. I have literally thousands of tracks, and look, I've enjoyed it. I'm not a audiophile. But I do know what I like, and as I say, if we could get these rubber just to make it fit that tight, just fit a wee bit more, I think that the sound for me would be perfect. They're very toppy, they're not too bassy, and I don't like bass. I just feel that just with that gap, because they don't have a tight seal on my ear, although they won't fall out, and I could run about. They would never fall out in my ear, but and they're not noise cancelling, so you do hear what's going on about you. I think the sound is really pretty decent, but as I said to you, it's not any better than the very, very cheap ones that I had, and the sound is not anywhere as good as the Sony LDAC headphones that I had, but they were not as easy to wear, and it was a bit more of a faff to get the bit of a faff to with the Sony ones, although the sound was great. So look, I think that the sound for most people is going to be fine, especially if you're traveling, and the fact that you have this battery life is really what is very cool, because of course you really have all day battery when you're carrying with the case. I would recommend that you buy, I think these weren't cheap. I think I got this out of Jarir, or my wife got it out of Jarir. It was about 60 reals, but I would recommend that you get something to protect your case. But I'm surprising myself when I say this, that I just really like it. It seems again a bit of a faff to be carrying about a case for your wireless headphones, but when you're considering, especially us when we're traveling from wherever, we're going to Thailand or we're going to Scotland, the fact that I'm always listening to music from the airport on the airplane, having this extra battery life is just it's just going to make life a lot easier. I just feel that the cost is not the cost. It's worth it to pay the cost for the battery life and the call function and the fact that they work independently of each other, but not to pay that money for the actual sound quality, because really if you're a real audiophile, then don't buy them, buy something else, because you'll just be criticising them all the time. Plus, if your ears are not suitable for normal AirPods, don't buy these either, because again you're going to be disappointed. But if you're like me and you're travelling a lot, plus you watch a lot of movies and TV, if you feel that you can pay. Actually, look, when you're talking about 500-600 reals for a half decent pair of Bluetooth headphones, half decent, and not the with the same kind of level of attention to detail, plus the fact that how flexible these are, it's not really a really high price to pay. Now, of course, people might worry about losing them, and you're right. I mean, I worry about it as well. Now, I did see that you can also buy like a cord that you can attach from on here and onto your other one, and I suppose for traveling, yep, fine, but you would have to remove it again if you want to charge them. So and it's not expensive, so I mean that is something that you is definitely worth considering. I did read somewhere that they're planning the next generation of these. They're going to be wireless charging, so it will fit on your mat of some sort, and will be able to charge wirelessly. For me, that's not an attractive proposition that I would go out and pay or buy an extra set for, or whatever, pay a bit more. But what they did say, maybe, and I don't know, let's see, the second generation is going to have noise cancelling, which should hopefully noise cancelling means that you won't be able to hear what's going on outside, but would really improve the sound of the music. So I mean, that I might try, or I might consider if that was the case. I'm not sure. It seems that I've moved away from Android for some reason, although I do have a few Android devices now. I'm going to be reviewing them soon, and I still like it, but I seem that I've become total Apple. I've adopted everything Apple, and maybe it's because I'm here and I can afford it, but I'm sure once I'm back in Scotland, it's going to be a different cup of tea, kettle of fish, all that kind of thing, because they're not cheap. Things are not cheap. These Apple stuff isn't cheap, and I understand that with people, but if you can find stuff secondhand, I never have a problem using secondhand stuff. So Apple secondhand gear does keep its price quite high, but if you look on eBay, you can find things. And even these, I know people might balk at the fact of buying a second hand, they've been in somebody else's ears, but really you can clean them pretty decent yourself and completely disinfect them. It wouldn't bother me, I would do it, and I don't have a problem with that at all. So okay, so that's really it all about me and my AirPods. I was skeptical when they first came out. I just thought, look, stupid. But because they're so light in your ear and you don't notice them, I don't bother about. Now I like it. The sound, as I say, the sound is fine, but you can get just as good a sound with paying a lot less, but you're not going to get this battery life, you're not going to get the flexibility if you have an iPhone, the ease of pairing if you have an iPad, a MacBook, whatever. You're not going to get that with cheaper ones. Of course, you can pair these with anything. It doesn't have to be Apple. It can be anything, your Android TV box at home, under your TV, anything. So I mean, there is a really decent degree of flexibility. The sensors in both of the AirPods, I think, is a great idea. The battery life is, it's killer, it's brilliant. So for those of us who might fancy them but kind of felt would be stupid, then be like me, just go out and buy them, because I guarantee you'll probably not really be that disappointed. But just for those who could wear AirPods, then yeah, if you have a problem with AirPods, with the wired ones, then don't buy these. It's not going to work. And as I say, I would recommend, just to save your case, getting some kind of rubber stuff. Anyway, there's plenty of better reviews on Apple AirPods than mine, but I really wanted to give you my opinion of them because I did change, and now I really like them, and it's all down to my wife. Thanks, darling. Love you. So that's it. Any questions, comments, etc., you know what to do. I'll do my best to answer them. And thank you. Bye.